Okay, so we'll get started. So we'll call the meeting to order at 6:05. And I'm just going to read the land acknowledgement first and then our statement, and then we can carry on with the agenda. So the town of Hinton respectfully acknowledges that it is located on First Peoples traditional lands. We recognize this traditional territory to show respect and understanding for those who walk this land since time immemorial. Today, we uphold our ongoing responsibilities to work together in the spirit of the intent of the treaties with all First Peoples and nations that call this place home. The town expresses gratitude for the opportunity to build a better community on these sacred lands for generations to come. The Beaver Boardwalk represents the heart of Hinton's natural heritage. It brings the gap between urban and wildlands by safely bringing citizens and visitors into the unique Maxwell Lake wetland. By presenting an educational and recreational experience, ecological integrity is preserved for present and future generations. So we will start with the agenda, but maybe I'm wondering, just in light of that, we've got a few new people in the room, if we could just maybe do a quick introductions, just so that you know who's in the room. And maybe, Chris, maybe we could start with you.
Sure, I think this will be also covered off in 3 with committee administration changes. My name is Chris Murphy. I'm the Director of Community and Protective Services here in Hinton. I'm also the Director of Emergency Management. As of yesterday, I'm going to be the new administrative rep with this committee. I'm very excited about it, looking forward. I will be honest, I have a lot to learn to bring myself up to speed. I will have several meetings with Heather here in the next little while to bring myself up to speed. But tonight, really, I'll be taking a lot of notes and be ready to go for the next meeting. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here and thank you for all that you do.
Okay, Kelly Armstrong, and nice to see your familiar faces and to meet all of you new guys. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Beth McCollum. I've been on the committee from the beginning. I'm actually president of the Whiskey Jack Club. I don't actually represent the club on this committee, but we do a lot on the Beaver Boardwalk. So I often talk about what we're doing and how we're contributing. It's a naturalist club in town.
Brianna?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Brianna Lawrence, new to the group this year, and apologies for not being there in person. I'm out of town for the week, but glad to be here virtually.
I'm glad to have you. Ben?
Hi, also a new appointee to the committee as of December, and very happy to be here. Just a little cough, so I am joining virtually.
Thank you. Jared?
My name is Jared. I'm the lead hand with Parks. I was asked to come in today just to review the operating highways for this upcoming year and share some exciting news.
Perfect, thanks for coming.
Of course.
I'm Sterling. I'm the youth representative on the Boardwalk Committee.
Perfect. Trevor?
Trevor Boudelier, member at large on the committee. Welcome to the group. Thank you. You got big shoes to fill, but I do.
And I believe we have, there's one fellow that is missing. So I'll have to make sure that he forwards, because I was kind of doing it around the table, but I'll make sure that he gets the updated agenda as well, as opposed to the expired one. So now we're going to move into the agenda. So if there's any sort of additions or amendments that you'd like to make to the agenda. Beth?
I'm not sure if we can address that at this meeting, but in the December 10 meeting, Heather talked about a potential, the workers breaking through the ice.
What?
The workers breaking through the ice. And she said the next day there was gonna be a biologist come to see if that was an issue or not. And I've never heard back. So again, I don't know if we can address that, but we might.
I think what I'm gonna suggest is when we come across questions or kind of thoughts that need to be addressed that we don't have the answers to, what I'll do is I'll maybe just record all of the questions that have come up out of the meeting, just so that then maybe we can have Chris take it back to Heather and just kind of see where we're at.
Yeah.
Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, no, I'd be fine, just as long as it doesn't drop off.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll just start, rather than maybe amending the agenda so much, is I'll just kind of grab questions that come up throughout the meeting that need to be addressed, and then maybe we can have them all addressed in one email. Just,
Communication.
sure, well,
Okay, and I have another one, which will, I don't know if it'll fall in the same category, but it would be nice to have an update. Just a quick update on what actually has been completed this year and what is expected to be completed.
and we are going to go through the operation plan with things a little bit itemized. I don't know if it's gonna have the timelines to them.
I think the operation plan is more what the town is going to do, and I'm talking about what the contractors are doing to fixing the boardwalk is two different things.
Okay.
So it'd just be nice to have an update. What have we finished? And what, I mean, weather and everything, but what do we expect to finish this winter?
So contractors update on finish to date and what expected. By a certain date,
End of winter, like.
End of winter?
Yeah, the end of this winter's working season.
winter season. Okay,
Today's weather, it is the end of winter.
oh my gosh, it's
think it
15.
is.
Oh.
Don't.
Break on the ice, and sorry, Beth, that date was from December 10th, or that was the December 10th meeting.
The December, no, that's just my, that's not to do with the meeting, it's just right now, I would like an update on what they finished. They started in November, maybe?
Right, but your initial question was about somebody breaking through the ice.
Oh, yes, that was December 10 meeting.
December.
Yeah.
10th. Okay. Okay, so as those come up, I'll just kind of record them and we'll just call it questions or communication, and then we can get back. Aside from that, are you seeing any additions or changes that you'd like to see made to the agenda?
Have future agenda items. But
Okay, so a future agenda item?
would be, we've talked about looking at conservation designation for the whole Beaver Boardwalk area. And I think Heather had even started looking at that, but she probably got overwhelmed.
Okay, and Beth, if you could repeat,
A conservation designation. Now, that could be, there's more conservation designations in urban areas happening. Like even the thing National Parks is looking at the Edmonton River Valley as a national park. And then often it doesn't have to be very strong, but some kind of designation that identifies this as a special area.
okay.
So I'm just calling that a conservation designation.
Okay, so I'll put that down as a future agenda item.
Okay.
So we will send out a preliminary agenda and give you the opportunity to add items for the agenda. So I'll capture this so that I can pass this on. But if you don't see it on there, that would be a great opportunity for you to say, please add to the agenda. So. Okay, other than that, is there any other amendments? Because I'm not gonna really put this as an amendment to the agenda, but if not, then I'll be looking for a motion to accept the agenda. Is there anybody willing to put Beth?
I'll do that. flap too much.
No, that's okay. That's what we're here to do. Okay, so we've got the agenda approved.
We'll
Now-
call it to,
Oh, we got-
call it to question.
Oh,
We'll vote on it,
yes,
best raise the question.
I
so-
just threw the motion out, so we have to vote on the motion.
yes. So all in favor? Okay. Okay, so next we're gonna go on to the adoption of the meeting minutes. So December 10th. I know some of you have just got that just briefly, so I don't know if you guys want to take a few seconds. I think
And
Kelly.
there was one amendment that.
Yes, 4.3, just to note out is missing Kelly from the
Interpretive signage. committee.
interpretive signage. So we'll make sure that that is added to that.
Okay.
Other than that, is there any other amendments to the minutes from December 10th?
I see that 4.5 has been updated. I think initially having had my name, but then that was you that made that motion. 4.5. The meeting schedule.
And what is in
No, it's
question?
been corrected.
Yes, I
yeah.
think what happened originally is when it was sent out, Heather by mistake had put the deadline for submitting agenda
Mm.
items in as opposed to the meeting, but then I think she corrected it. So I don't know that we necessarily need to amend it. It was just a typo on her.
Yeah, no, it looks like it has been fixed.
Okay.
here.
Okay. So we'll capture Kelly Armstrong to be added to 4.3 as interpretive signage. Any other amendments? The minutes? Not seeing any, so then I'm going to be looking for a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, so that is Trevor. Okay, all in favor? Okay, so moving on to information items, I think, Chris, maybe we could get you to talk a little bit about this, the committee administrative changes. You kind of touched on it.
I
I don't know if
did,
you
yeah.
want to add anything.
I do have big shoes to fill. I will be kind of Heather's replacement moving forward with this committee, so. You have my full commitment to have myself brought up to speed and ready to go for the next meeting. I'll be working with Heather in the interim. To get some of the background on this reviewing terms of reference. But I will say I'm looking forward to working with this committee. Great committee to have, and I'm very thankful for your guys' commitment and hours that you put into this, and I'll do my best to help facilitate, answer those questions that are raised in a timely fashion. Thank you.
And it does say Chris's first meeting will be in May, so we're really grateful to have you here
Here we are.
tonight. He had to do a little juggling to get here, so it worked out really good. Moving on to 3.2, interpretive signage. It sounds like Director Murphy will replace Heather on the subcommittee. So the first iteration of the signage will be available for you viewing by the subcommittee in advance of the May meeting. So I believe you'll work closely with Heather and then get that out to the group. So
Correct.
you guys can expect that. Now, any questions or anything that's coming out of that or discussion?
I just, I know town had a real serious computer crash. Last winter, and I don't, like at the last meeting, Heather said, you know, we might have lost something. So I did send her, like our subcommittee went out and did an inventory of the signs, took pictures, locations before they were all taken down, so.
Okay.
And then we were gonna do a new sign for the Fen, and I had Dr. Ashley Hillman, from U of A write up, like an initial draft, and then, so I've sent that off to Heather. And then I believe we've gone a little farther than that. There were a couple of options for the main welcoming signs that we've gone through, but I'm assuming Heather has all that, or she would be us. Next week.
Right,
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll follow up with that.
so,
yeah,
and it looks like that it will come to you in advance of the May meeting,
Good.
so.
good.
Then I'm gonna guess that will probably be some items that will be added to the agenda for discussion, so,
Okay,
yeah.
so we won't be meeting as, or it'll come to the subcommittee.
It'll come to the
first before it
subcommittee
comes
first
to the
and then
main
come to
board.
me, yeah,
Okay,
okay?
Then maybe we could just plan to meet.
that's some
Heather,
Heather and Chris. and
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm gonna guess she'll send out the information and then amongst you, you'll come up with a date for your
Mhm.
subcommittee meeting.
Yeah.
And then I think then you will report back on the next Beaver Boardwalk Oversight Committee meeting, just to give an update on what
Where- yeah.
evolved from your subcommittee meeting. So,
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So it'll be us and Chris.
well, and I think, I think what I would ask of the committee as well is, right now, we're gonna go through a little bit of a transition from Heather over to Chris. So, if there's some things that you see need to be like where it's now May and you haven't got that, then, send me a message and then I'll follow up on it and just make sure that it isn't something that's got slipped through the cracks. But I'm making those notes and so is
Right.
Chris. Are you okay
Sure.
with us calling you Chris?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so discussion items, the 4.1, 2026 Boardwalk Operating Plan. So this is where Jarrett is going to kind of go through with everybody. For those of you that are online, Jared did hand out some maps. So we'll probably do our best to kind of maybe explain it because you don't have the visual part of it. So we'll do our best to kind of explain all of that to you. But yeah, you go ahead, Jared. Jared's only gonna speak to the plan so much. And then if there's if the committee wants to make changes to the plan, he will need a consensus at that stage to do so. So we'll need some sort of a motion after he's gone through the plan if we need to remove something or add something. But just to make note as he's going through it, the total operating budget for the boardwalk is $60,000. Therefore, any items that we wish to add need to be replaced by another, or pardon me, like if we're adding something, then we need to remove something. Right now, the total budget line is coming to the $60,000. So if we're tweaking, we need to be mindful of that budget, okay? So Jared, you go ahead, thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'll preface all this with saying I'm not very familiar with public speaking or haven't done a lot of meetings, so I apologize if I start going too fast or rambling on, maybe start mumbling. Just give me a heads up and I'll try and re-go over everything as I'm running through this. And if you guys have any questions while I'm going through this as well, feel free to ask. I can't guarantee I have any answers outside of the information I've been given. My role is mostly just to line up the crew from day-to-day tasks, so any information I have I can share, I'll absolutely share with you guys. The first thing I have on here is we have prefabricated benches we're going to be installing around the boardwalk this year. In the areas where the contractors have gone through. So if you look on the map, you'll notice around sections like E, U, B, P, and Q. There's a little dot with the letter B in it. In those sections, we're going to be installing benches. Once the contractors finished up with those
What, and the numbers for E, U?
V, P, and Q.
Oh, P, I missed P, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, pretty much where Robson has gone through and they've updated that boardwalk, we're gonna follow through and on all the bump outs along the boardwalk, we'll have benches in.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Thank you. Yep, okay.
Second thing I have here is maintenance to the small bridge. So right at section S, it says Happy Creek Bridge there on the maps. We're just waiting on environmental assessments to come back, before we get permitting underway. But we're looking to build a crossing, just not a permanent fixed crossing, but what we're looking at doing is adding some railings to there that have the ability to drop down and we can run equipment over as needed. As well as emergency response, they'll be able to use that to get in there if they need to as well. This will help us out in the future if we have to add gravel to the gravel section in the middle. As well as hauling any wood materials, joists or anything like that as well.
So the current railings would be removed and then new railings, or would you keep the footings at this point? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're just looking at doing work just to the railings, just so that way we can add hinges essentially and drop them down.
Yeah.
Just so we get a little more access with our equipment and able to bring some more material over, do a little bit more work in the area.
Yeah.
Jared, I have a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand we have railings when things are over 3 feet tall or there's some kind of serious grade on the boardwalk. That section is pretty low down and it's flat, of course. Why is there a railing at all there if it's causing a problem?
I believe it's because it's a water crossing, like, just to prevent anyone from falling into that water crossing. That would be my best guess, however, I don't have the exact reason for it right now.
So just if I
I
just
would
want to
kind of
say,
just see this flowing water underneath there, not
Yeah.
fast, but it is a stream, so I imagine near some regulation, but I don't know
Well,
that.
I don't think
That
that's
maybe
the
could be
case.
followed up.
I don't think that's the case. I can think of a couple other bridges on the gravel path, like the town trail, that have no railing. So the reason why I'm jumping on this is, Counselor, you mentioned that if we wanted to add something, we got to take something out. Maybe this is not an actual needed thing, this kind of like removable railing. Maybe simply removing it would give you the budget to do something that's a higher priority.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, Ben, is I'm just gonna put a little arrow. Just saying that that's kind of something that's been addressed because I don't really know the answer to that as to whether or not it is a requirement or not. And Jared, it's my understanding that you're not sure you're
No, I'm not entirely
Right.
sure myself.
okay.
either.
So Ben, would you be comfortable if I just kind of earmark that for right now and then we'll continue going through and then maybe we'll try to get the answer to that? Okay,
I have a comment. Those railings are often used by people viewing the beaver pond, like for photography and everything. So it's not just a safety thing, like people will use them for viewing and everything. I'm just making that comment in terms of why you might want a railing, even if it's technically not feasible.
sure.
It's just a comment.
Yeah, and there might be
Preventing people from getting in the
right,
water. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know, we'll kind of earmark it just to find out, because if there is some things down the road and this is something that could slide over, so something else can slide in, and I'll just mark it as that for now. Okay, go ahead, John.
Third on my list is, we have some environmental protection signage that we were hoping to post in the area. Some of the ideas for these signs are ones that, read report thistle, maybe we'll add some contact information for that as well, so something Parks Crew would be able to tackle. don't pick wildflowers or any flowers in the area. Leave it pristine, pack in, pack out, similar to those kinds of signs. We'd like to post those in the areas. We're not too sure at this time where we want to put them. So if anyone has any suggestions, maybe where to put them, we'd absolutely have to take those. Right now, we're kind of thinking trailheads, but putting some around the rest of the area probably wouldn't hurt either. Fourth one on our off plan. We have the Beaver feeding program. So if you're not familiar with it, we do have a local volunteer group, I believe the Rotary Arts Club.
It's the Whiskey Jack Club, but the Rotary is our, banker. So
Okay.
all of the invoices go through the Rotary, but we do the work
Okay.
and make the invoice off. Yeah, it's handy. Yeah,
Need a banker.
oh, yeah.
So what we'll be doing with them is, as a thanks we'll be donating $1,000 to them. What they do is they'll go out and they'll collect aspen trees for the beavers, bring it back to the feeding sites marked on the map. Just near section BD. And they'll leave it there for the beavers to feast on throughout the year.
Yeah, we actually keep hours, how many hours what we actually spend cutting it and transporting it. And that's part of the invoice, and then there's a basic hourly charge, so,
Okay.
but it's never been over $1,000, but that's good to know that we can work with it. Yeah.
Perfect. Afterwards, interpretive signage, printing and installing them. So that's what Natalie and Beth were speaking to earlier. We are hoping to see that first iteration of those signs for that subcommittee meeting. That's all I had for an update on there. If you're wondering about locations on that map again, similar to the benches, the little S's around Boardwalk, you'll see them posted around there. That's where those signs are located right now. And we're just looking to refresh some of them, add some missed information to them as well. Item 6 on the list, at the junction of sections E and F. On the map there, after the contractor had connected those sections, we identified that there was a bit of instability in there. What we're looking at doing now is adding some floats underneath section E, or sorry, section F, and look at flattening out that section, bringing it to the same level as E, just to avoid any tripping hazards in the area.
You won't have to do any cutting of the trees. It's just working right underneath them. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll just be installing those floats, and we want to get those installed before April 15th. And then once those are done, we can look at lowering the boardwalk, since we won't be working directly in the wetland area there.
Right, oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
Second last item on our list is kind of a big one. The entrance at Sutherland, it has that fairly steep grade to it where it takes you down into the boardwalk area.
Right.
And we were looking at different ways to mitigate that hazard going forward. We've come to the conclusion that our best course of action to tackle it will probably be bringing in some help. So we're looking at a contractor to do a site design for the area. What we're looking for is someone just to look at giving us a design where we're not going to run into any washout damage in the future. It can handle excessive use, any drainage issues that may occur, maybe something that can avoid some of the heavy ice buildup. I know all of the trails right now, there's a lot of buildup, so we're looking to get the contractor in just to get a site design for that area, and then we can bring up that plan later on, once we get that back. Then the final one I have on my list, it's a little harder to find on here. I don't know if maybe Beth, you might be able to describe the area a bit more, but,
Oh, yeah,
where we did that rehabilitation, recently, just across the big bridge, over along the gravel paths.
okay, the big bridge, which one are you talking about?
Just, it's not labeled unfortunately, so
Yeah.
come with here, I believe the rehabilitation is around in this area here.
Oh, okay.
We were looking at getting some boulders and,
Oh.
even bigger rocks to place in that area, just to keep people
For breathing.
off of walking over that area and just to let it come back a little more naturally and healthy.
Well, that'd be great, because there is a lot of braiding on that side, like, you know, the people can go down to the lake, okay, but they don't need 5 areas to go down to the lake. you know,
Yeah,
so
We can kind of get them going in just the same area
Same.
each time,
Yeah,
just stay off some of that reclaimed area.
yeah, okay, that'd be great. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've always worried about that, it's like people are making great trails all through there and it just degrades the whole thing, so over time.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just to prevent any more of that degradation to the area, we're hoping to get some bigger rocks, just to, it's kind of a temporary fence in the area, just to keep people, deter them from using some of those areas and keep them on the paths.
Oh, okay, I should have known when you said the bridge, the bridge over the. Actually,
Excuse me,
yeah,
so yes, that's all I had on that list. Is there any other questions about any of those items?
Ben, Brianna, just, I know you guys are online, so we're trying to watch if you have questions or anything, but just wave your hand or whatever. Anybody else have any questions concerning the operating plan? No. Now,
I do.
Ben,
Oh, sorry, Natalie. I
ahead,
do
Brianna.
just one question. I think I missed it. But regarding the interpretive signage, I think that you said the first iteration of signage was anticipated but do we know when, or is it just that it'll be before the subcommittee meeting for signage?
Do you know what? I'll ask Heather if she can give us, she's just kind of said that it will come out ahead of the May meeting. So maybe what
Okay.
I'll do is I'll just make a little note in the questions, just saying would interpretive signage meet at what date? Is that good?
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we have the opportunity just to discuss the plan that was just presented a little bit?
Sure. We'll do our
Okay.
best for sure. Without Heather here, it's but Jared is here and I know he said that he doesn't have all the answers, but maybe we'll see if we can get 1 or 2 out of him. So go ahead.
So my question was just to confirm that there aren't any, like in the past, maintenance has done some bracing and those kind of spot improvements for sections that were getting a little wobbly. So none of that is planned for this year. Is that correct?
To my knowledge, no, usually as those items come up, we would try to tackle them as soon as we can. Right now, I know there is I don't know that there's any big issues, or at least none that have been pointed out to myself. So yeah, like usually as they come up, we'll try and go in and tackle them.
Okay, so if there was some kind of critical safety thing, then even it wouldn't be a problem that you've already spent your 60,000 and you're unable to make those fixes.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, that's great to know. And I just want to say that I think all the items that you presented are like really good items there. Possibly if the railing is not needed or desired, and I'm not saying that that we don't want it, but that could be the only one that I could potentially see cutting. The only 2 items that maybe we could add is just if there was, do you know the spot between sections M and L? It's where the Bighorn bike trail kind of crosses the loop that goes way back there, the Forest and Fen loop or whatever we're calling it.
So is it N and then N turns into M that turns into L, like that loop?
Between M as in Mike and L as in Lima.
Yeah, okay.
So that's kind of a swamp in there. And of course, it's pretty far out to put piles in or anything like that. But that's kind of a perennial sunken area as well. And just because it's so far back, I think it gets forgotten. So that would be kind of what I would suggest if there was any extra capacity, could be one place to put it, is trying to improve that little area there. Probably there's environmental concerns because you've got a gravel trail running right across it, and then that's always a recipe for, like, if you don't control the sediment well, it's a recipe for sediment getting into the wetland there. So that would be why it's kind of an issue. And then this is more of a broader question, but we don't have budget in the current free grant for that tower. And if there is a grant that comes up, I was wondering if we had done that, and this is a question for Heather, done the engineering so that we know what to apply for. Like if a grant comes up, are we ready to go on that, or we don't really know what it would cost to build the tower? The section R, I think, is what the tower is called. And so if there was money to do the engineering for that, that would be another maybe good use.
So I'm gonna capture it as section R, tower, do we have engineering completed to know complete costs as to what it would cost in case we want to apply for grant funds or look for further funding? Correct?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I understand, we are trying to replace that tower, but I don't know if we're ready for that yet.
Okay. Okay. I captured that as a question for Heather as well, Ben. Now, as far as, was there anything else? Sorry, before I. So as far as, like some sort of, like we need some sort of consensus for the operating plan. So I'm wondering, do we want to, just trying to think of how to word this. Consensus to accept the operating plan as is with the possibility of movement on the railings for the small bridge maintenance if needed, if not needed. Would that be okay? I think we just need to have consensus just because it's kind of like a itemized budget, and we're just trying to make sure that we're working within our means, but it looks like we are. So, but just I could make that as a side note to know that if there was something that came up, there was a question of whether or not this was really needed, the railings. But we don't know the answer to that is the problem. So,
Well, I mean, I would just look at consensus as is. Like we can discuss the railings once you get the whether there's a requirement because it's going to overflowing water or not. Because and quite frankly, I would just keep them almost to keep people and dogs from getting into the beaver pond, because you're right there, you know. So I think the railings myself provide more than just a safety thing. But we're not into that discussion yet because we don't know if we need them or not. So I'd just be happy as consensus.
okay,
As it, and then when we get the answer to that, we can discuss further.
okay. Is the group okay with that? Trevor, you have a question?
I've got a couple questions before
Sure.
I can comment on that. Because at that bridge, beyond it in section S, it was just recently, it's not boardwalk, but it's on sleepers. You guys just did that. It looks great.
Yep.
It is, I think it's only 4 feet wide. Is that a limiting factor to getting equipment across that bridge?
As far as I know right now, it might be. I believe the plan is to look into maybe widening out if possible,
Okay,
just to garner access into there.
so wouldn't, like, my personal opinion is, I think the railings are fantastic, my kids have have fallen off numerous times into the water and gone for an accidental swim, so I think it's great, but is there a possibility of just widening the bridge and maintaining rails?
I think that is a possibility. I think right now we were just looking at keeping everything in the exact footprint and just looking at different ways of working around in case we can't find that bridge. The railings was kind of a backup. It is the harder plan, so I think we were going forward with this and just making sure we can actually work with that plan before we start really shopping up different ideas.
Okay, like just, it is definitely an older style bridge, I know it's been receiving adequate maintenance, but it is creosote ties, I believe, so it'd be great to see that removed. But also it's probably getting close to end of life as well, so maybe looking at replacing it would be a consideration. But yeah, a couple other concerns I had was, you're talking about lowering that recently finished section EF intersection. I'm assuming that's under a warranty from the contractor still?
What we're looking at lowering is mainly on section F, which hasn't been touched by the
Okay.
contractor. They just tied into that intersection there between E and F.
Okay, so you wouldn't be
Um,
risking avoiding any warranty?
No, it would, we would just be just ensuring that F is still level with E and D as well.
Okay,
Like I said, after they tie it in, if there's just a bit of a difference in height between the two sections, so we're just looking at trying to level it all out.
okay. And my final point was regarding the grading reduction and retaining wall at Sutherland entrance. I do think that cost that's been estimated is quite low. And I do see that as quite a liability for the town. That they should maybe be looking at doing. Like, get some proper engineering work done on it. I would love to offer up, the company I work for, their services, they've got a community program to help out, so I'd love to reach out if you want to reach out afterwards, we could help out on that front.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, just,
Those are my.
okay, yeah, no, and good comments. I tried to capture some of them as well. But I mean, for the ones that Jared was maybe able to answer, I didn't capture, but I did make some notes about maybe cost might be too low. Is it limiting, and down the road, could this potentially be widened?
Oh, for the bridge, yeah,
Yeah. okay.
yeah,
And I just worded it as section S. Bridge. Okay. Does anybody else have any comments before we go on with getting a consensus?
I have one more question. The environmental protection signs. So Jared, I think you mentioned that you were seeking some input on locations for those. Is that something that the interpretive signage subcommittee would take a look at too?
Who sits on that? Beth, Kelly, Brianna, you're on that committee as well, right? So
And I think
are you
Ben.
just looking from feedback for location? Cause I'm sure that would that be something you guys would be willing to put forward as recommendations?
Sure, I wouldn't have, it wouldn't take much, I don't think.
Yeah, cause that's what you're looking for, is just some sort of recommendations as to
Yeah.
where to place them.
Like we kind of have an idea now, like we were thinking mostly just the trailheads, maybe around some of our maps as well that are posted along there. Along the trail, sorry, but if anyone has any different ideas, maybe putting a few like along bridges, anywhere like that. Like I said, if you guys have any input to that, that'd be all more than welcome.
Okay, so maybe I'll just let Heather know that, and it will be you, that when we get the subcommittee together, maybe we could include that as part of their agenda. Yeah, Beth, you were gonna mention something.
I just have a comment, like in one of your environmental protection, like reports, it's almost like the Whiskey Jack Club. every year does a thistle pull. All around the Beaver Pond, and we've started on that hill just to the west, because everything is all. So I don't, you know, we do that every year anyway, so everybody's gonna report thistles from the same place. So I mean, I know what you're coming at, like report invasive weeds or something like that, but just a comment, like. Even if the signs are up, that's good, and you know, people are aware.
No, absolutely, and that's right along lines of feedback we're looking for, right, like. You know, like you said, a lot of that thistles growing in specific areas, we're gonna get a lot of reports for those specific areas, even though we're currently working at them, so.
Yeah.
Like even, like you said, even invasive plants in the area, if anyone notices them, if they report it to us, we can change up the sign to say something more like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just reading through my notes. I think we needed a consensus to remove or add, but I'm thinking, could we not just have a motion to accept the operating plan as is?
I believe that was.
Yeah.
Let me just,
Because I think the consensus was more if there had to be an agreement that we were all gonna either move something or add something. But I think that, you know, if everybody is okay with the operating plan as it is right now, that we would just need a motion to accept it. So I'll be looking for a motion unless there's more conversation that needs to come from this, or anybody want to make that motion? Kelly?
Yeah, I'll make a motion
Okay.
to accept the operating plan.
Okay, and I'll be looking for the group all in favor. Okay. So we've got, Brianna, you got all of that?
Yep.
Okay, so. Jared, thank you, by the way, for presenting all of that. It was great. And you did much better than I think you thought you were gonna do, because I thought you did wonderful. So thank you.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so,
So before you go ahead, Natalie,
yes,
the committee certainly appreciates all the work that the town is doing. The maintenance efforts have certainly been greatly increased since I've been on this committee for 4 or 5 years now, and just want to thank the town for all the work that they're doing up there. So thank you.
that's
Appreciate
awesome.
that, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll pass the kudos along to the rest of the group, so.
Yeah.
No, just you.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so I guess I jumped ahead, the adoption of the 2026 Boardwalk operating plan. So I think we're moving right along, so, I don't know. Let me see, we've got that motion, I think that's all we've got for our agenda this evening. Do we want to maybe do a little, since we've gone through this quite quickly? Do we maybe want to do a little round table and make sure that I've captured all of the questions and everybody, just because I went through that quickly. I actually flipped my page over and went, wait a second, I think we're done. So I'm just thinking that maybe that way, if there is any further questions or more communication that the group wants to get back, then I can capture all of it. Then that way we can go through it with Chris and Heather and make sure that when we come back, and I just want to make sure as well that we're going to get a message out that we need the date for the subcommittee for the interpretive signage meeting. Okay, and that also the subcommittee would be willing to give input on where the placement of the, I'm gonna call them thistle signs. What are they actually called?
I have them in here as. Environmental protection signage.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I'm trying to listen and write at the same time sometimes. Yeah, so is there some questions or anything that would be something you'd like me to kind of capture so that we could kind of bring back? Or is there anything that anybody was hoping we were gonna address this evening that maybe I went through a little quickly? I've got to get, oh, sorry, Ben, go ahead.
The burning question for me is the contractor going to replace section Y? It's been on the maps for phase 2 all along, and we were assured last meeting that it was, and then there was a communication by the town saying that it was not. And in talking to the contractor just one-on-one, then it sounded like it was up in the air. It absolutely needs to be replaced, and Beth's questions were not answered in the email threads. So I was sort of expecting the answer to that tonight.
Yeah, and I might be able to address part of that. It's my understanding, Beth, that the question was addressed. Did you not? I believe Mayor Labarge did confirm that with CAO Panasic, and that was going to be going forward, and
Yeah,
that was
There was
confirmed.
a minute to council, and even though it's not meant to be, there were 2 presentations about section Y and minute to council. And it's not meant to be an interactive, but Ryan LaBerge, our mayor, had heard about it before, and so he must have talked to the CAO. Cause he did confirm right in that minute to council, and you could go and look on the video. That Y would be done, and then they went over to the CAO and he nodded his head, he was looking at his papers and he nodded his head, so. I'm assuming that does mean Y will be captured this year.
And that is my understanding as well. I don't know, Jared, if you know anything different.
Unfortunately, I'm
Yeah.
not too sure.
Yeah, and I think sometimes part of the miscommunication is talking to the contractors versus the instructions that are given for the. So I don't know, and it's my understanding as well that it was just a miscommunication with communications when they sent that out. And that letter was not included, but it should have been. So,
And the town made a mistake by putting a map on the Facebook.
Yeah.
With showing that would be future.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what cued me, is like, whoa, that has to be done, and we even
Yeah.
talked about it last year that.
yeah,
Because it was so steady for so long, and then all of a sudden it just went. And so it would be a real hazard, like you would, if you didn't finish it this year, you'd have to close that section.
yeah,
And nobody wants to see that, so that's kind of where
yeah,
I became aware of, it's like, what is this map? This is wrong, so then I started asking questions, and other people did too, so.
yeah. Oh, no,
Yeah.
for sure. I definitely heard about it. I mean, it came back. I was there at minute to council as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Yeah, and I think right now, I mean, we've had such warm weather and it's probably made it very difficult to progress things. So I don't know. I mean, you guys are a little bit more familiar with the actual construction of the enhancements, but I believe most of it is weather permitting. Am I correct, Jared?
So
Yeah, yeah, okay. So Ben, I know that doesn't give you a really concrete answer, but I feel 99.9% confident that section Y was given the green light that things are going to be moving forward for this year on that section. So other than that, I don't know if you
Well,
want
for
to.
sure, if I hear anything to the contrary, I'll be sure to let everybody know.
Yeah,
But I made a note of it. I will have a conversation just to confirm.
yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Do we want to go around the room, or do you guys just want to pipe up if there's any questions that you want me to bring back? I mean, there's just a few changes, so I mean, this isn't like the normal process, but I just thought in light of that, we're kind of transitioning. If there's anything that you wanted to know, this might be a time for me to try to get some of those answers.
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say, if any of you haven't checked out the new open U and V loop, it's great. It looks so beautiful back there. I forgot how pretty it was.
Yeah,
So they did a really nice job.
good. Thanks for that feedback.
And you can see the new Beaver down below. It's quite a structure. Yeah.
I'll have to go out because I did go out back in, I believe, just early November. So I have to get back down there again. So I will be there over the weekend because I know the Brawler race is kind of starting from the Maxwell Lake area to do that loop over the weekend. So yeah, you'll have to go for a little
Yeah.
hike. Yeah.
That will be in the future, something that the committee might have to address is potential overuse of the boardwalk. Yeah. Like, the parking and everything is limited, but you can't increase that, it's done, so. But if you. You know, there's a lot, it's meant to be. A local feature, visitors are welcome, but it seems like there's a lot of traffic. And sometimes the bicycle people aren't where they should be either.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know, we have to address that in the future, that might become an issue. I do get tired of people yelling at you coming through and expecting, and I'm out there to have a good time, so I don't let myself get upset, but. Is that the proper etiquette?
Yeah.
So at some point, that would be maybe a future discussion. Is what is too much?
Sure.
So,
I don't even wanna say this because I am a bike user. But is there concern, I mean, with the growler, specifically, inviting fat bikes onto the boardwalk? It is limited to that main Maxwell Lake Bridge, correct? And that cut across and then they jump onto the Hinton trails?
I have to tell you honestly, I don't know the route that they're going. I just know that it's happening this weekend. I think I don't think they've got as many participants as they have had in the past, but I believe there may be as many as 40.
I do think that is the route, but especially with the new work happening. Is there a concern from the town's perspective of damage to new decking from studded tires?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And again, I don't know if I want to even ask that.
yeah, but I mean, they've always, that's the main trail, like over the bridge, the big bridge, that's.
Mhm.
Yeah, like bikes. That's one of the access routes for bikes because it's wide and everything. What was the other, did it come back?
I think they would come back around on C,
On which?
on the east
Yeah.
side.
So do you
Yeah.
mind pointing out again? They come
I
down.
think they start here at the
Yeah,
behind the
just-
apartments, and
yeah.
then they cut across the main Maxwell Lake Bridge. And then they get on through the Himba trails
And
this way,
then-
and then they come back over on C, and then they're on gravel, but.
Okay, okay. So just, it would affect from pretty much so from here to here, right?
It'd just be this stretch here
Okay.
that there is boardwalk and C as well, but.
Okay. Okay,
And C is, I mean, isn't there three, like the main one, C and. Sure, but I know I've been on C and people are just yelling coming through and. I don't think you can walk and watch, but I find that a little rude myself. But I've been there at the growler race and it seems well. What nice stuff.
okay. So,
But I mean, I guess my more concern is I've been in the back on the fan and stuff and there's bikes roaring around back there and they don't really belong there. Yes, but anyway, that might, again, I'm hesitant to bring that up. I don't know how much.
well, and as we go along,
Yeah.
you know, we've got several meetings that we can address different issues to as they come up. So,
Yeah,
you know, we can work our way through that. So, next meeting date we have as May 6th. Has everybody got that in their calendar? And again, we'll go 6 to 8 in this committee room. And unless you guys have anything else, I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Anyone,
Oh my God.
Trevor? And the time is 7:05, Brianna.
All those in favor?
Thank you. I'm learning this whole chair thing. Second, this is the second one. And the first one I really bombed on. Well, just because I didn't realize that I was actually gonna be chairing that evening, and then it